The 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup is proudly brought to you by SunBet, Red Square, Bridgestone the tyre of choice, and Kawasaki South Africa. Welcome to the Killarney International Raceway in Cape Town for round 2, race 2 of the 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. The pit lane was buzzing just before the race, and just before the race could get underway, there was also a grid walk where fans got to meet and mingle with their favourite riders and their machines. The riders headed off then for their warm-up lap to warm up those Bridgestone tyres in what would be race 2 of round 2 of the 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. Let's take a reminder then at the qualifying results. Clinton Sella on pole, followed by Trevor Westman, AJ Fenter, David Enticott, Han McMahon, Jason Lamb, Graham van Bidar, Brian Bontekoning, David Feringa, Piers Canute, Lubalala Nsana, Renatus van der Kerk, and Adi van Dalen in 13th place. Christian Caravello in 14th, followed by Johan Leroux, Gerard Frey, Byron Rothquell, Apana Ganapathy in 18th, Peter Huisman 19th, Aubrey Moraine 20th, Sifiso Temba 21st, Stephen Golgotzi in 22nd, Ian Harwood 23rd, Jonathan Schwer in 24th, and rounding out the grid in 25th, Henk Schkeling. Talk is cheap, as they say, and it was time to do, as the riders took their grid slots for race 2 of the 2024 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup here at the Killarney International Raceway. The marshal showing the 30-second board then, vacating the grid. It was time to get underway. Lights on and lights off, and away they go. And a much better start from the whole front row there. A little bit of a wheelie though for Clint Sella, who lost a little bit of drive. That allowed AJ Fenter and Trevor Westman to get past him. Jason Lamb, a much better start this time, as he controlled that right-hand throttle there not to jump the start, so hoping for a much better race in race 2. Clinton Sella up the inside there of both Trevor Westman and AJ Fenter in turn 2, as Trevor Westman also made his way past AJ Fenter, so a double overtake maneuver there as we take a ride on board with Byron Rothquell on his pool warehouse Magic ZX10R for the start of race 2, and a great start from Byron. An initial little bog, but as you can see, he makes his way into turn 1. He's got riders on his outside there with the Panaganapathy, Adi van Dalen in front of him, and a whole host of riders behind him looking to attack. Will he get the drive here and make a pass on Adi van Dalen? Looks like he's going for it, but backed out last minute there. Adi van Dalen running in a bit hot though, allowing Byron the inside line there on the apex, but no, Adi van Dalen shut the door and closed the door right in Byron's face. Let's take another look then at the start from another view, another perspective, as the camera faces backwards of the Kawasaki machine of Han McMahon as they head into turn 1. A great initial launch there from Han, but he did bog as the bike wheelied, but nonetheless managed to hold position just ahead of Jason Lamb. Out front though, it is the same trio as in race 1, this time with orders reversed for the second and third position. Clint Sella still leading ahead of Trevor Westman this time, looking at putting pressure on Clint Sella. AJ Fenter in third, coming under a little bit of pressure early on there by Han McMahon, who had a fantastic start, with Jason Lamb just behind him and Brian Bontekoning in hot pursuit as well. Heading down the back straight then for the first time, Brian Bontekoning in 6th, David Enticott there in 7th, looking at going on the inside of Graham van Bidar as the rest of the field made their way through. Henk Schkeling and Ian Harwood there right at the tail end of the field. They would be looking at getting a little bit further up than that. Clint Sella across the line ahead of Trevor Westman, AJ Fenter, as the rest of the field compiling through. At this stage, Jason Lamb had got ahead of Han McMahon, and that was the battle for 4th place. So a much better outing in the second race for Jason Lamb, who made it through turn 1 safely this time. Back with the leaders heading into turn 2, Trevor Westman, AJ Fenter, Jason Lamb, Han McMahon, and Graham van Bidar looking for a move there on the inside of Brian Bontekoning. Well, Lubas was still ahead of Byron Rothquell, a partner Ganapathy as well, and a much better outing. Sifiso Temba looking good on his number 63 machine. Graham van Bidar, and that's David Enticott going on the inside there of Brian Bontekoning. A great outing so far. Not a great start there for David as he looks to make up positions, get himself towards the front end, and Jason Lamb and Han McMahon, he wants to get himself involved in that battle as soon as possible. While the battle for fourth was heating up nicely between Jason Lamb and Han McMahon, who was swapping positions literally in every corner. Han McMahon looking at getting the drive onto the front straight. Let's take a ride on board with Han as he gets into Jason's slipstream. Will he be able to make a move heading into turn one? Doesn't seem close enough at this moment. And no, Jason Lamb a bit deeper on the brakes heading into turn one, but will he run it slightly wide and give that opportunity to Han to slip on the inside? No, not quite. Jason Lamb should get the better drive here as he gets, but no, he loses the rear end there, loses a bit of drive and momentum, and that allows Han McMahon to slip up the inside heading into turn two. A great move there by Han McMahon on the number 4 machine. The battle for second was still in the hands of Trevor Westman, just ahead of AJ Fenter as he looked at going one better than he did in the first race, looking at taking that second place away from AJ Fenter. But out front, Clinton Seller was streaking ahead, setting very competitive lap times as he pulled away from that battle between AJ Fenter and Trevor Westman in second and third. David Enticott made his move ahead of Graham from Midar, and that was now for 5th place as he looked at chasing down the battle between Han McMahon and Jason Lamb for 4th as they headed down the main straight. It was still Han McMahon ahead of Jason Lamb, and as the rest of the field piled through, Piers Canute having yet another great ride at his home track in Cape Town, with Brian Bontequin, also a fantastic ride, now just behind David Enticott in 6th place. Han McMahon, Jason Lamb, you can see now Han McMahon putting his head down, trying to streak away and create a bit of a gap between himself and Jason Lamb. David Faringa on his wheels online, Kawasaki ZX10 machine, looking good, having another solid race. While further back, Lubas diving to the inside there, making a move on Adi van Dalen, and they were just behind. A great ride from Christian Carvello in the second race. As the riders headed onto the main straight to complete yet another lap, this battle was fascinating between Sifiso Temba, that's Dieter Huisman, Arby Marais, and Stephen Golgotti further back, as well as Jonathan Schwerin. This was a battle that would rage on the whole race, with the riders pretty much swapping positions in every corner, out of every corner, down the straights. As you can see here, a fantastic ride by these 5 riders here. Stephen Golgotti looking at going on the inside there of Arby Marais. Will he pull it off? Arby drifting a little bit wide there. In the meanwhile, the battle between Gerard Frey, Byron Rothquell, and Apana Ganapathy was also heating up quite nicely. But nothing compared to this 5-way battle, which was for 17th place out on track respectively. So fantastic ride by these guys. As you can see, Lana Stern now heading towards the back straight. That's Jonathan Schwerin having a much better outing at his home track in the second race here at the Killarney International Raceway, with Byron Rothquell just ahead of this battle. Also a fantastic ride from Byron, and out front it was still Trevor Westman under massive pressure from AJ Fenter. Just look how bumpy this Killarney International Raceway is. Further back, Lubas was styling on his number 53 machine, while in the meantime the battle was heating up as now David Enticott had managed to catch up to Jason Lamb for that battle for 5th place, with Han McMahon streaking away up ahead in 4th. This was now the battle out on track between Jason Lamb, David Enticott, and defending champ Graham from Bidar, who was also having a much better outing in the second race. Han McMahon, though, setting personal best lap times, lap after lap, as he looked to consolidate that 4th position. Ian Harwood having a great run in the second heat as he looked to get more seat time after having a horrific round 1 at Red Star, plagued by mechanical issues. Henk Schkeling heading his way through turn 2, and that is Ian Harwood getting now lapped by the runaway leader out front, which we had pretty much forgot about. That's Clinton Seller on his King Price Extreme Kawasaki, really running away with it, styling. As you can see here, check out those bumps, that suspension working overtime, those Bridgestone tires working overtime to keep Clinton Seller out front, setting those impeccable, immaculate lap record after lap record lap times. At this stage, Arby Marais was still ahead of Dieter Huisman and Stephen Golgotti in that battle for 17th, with Sifiso Temba not far behind, lapping just at the back of that group behind Jonathan Schwerin, while Apana Ganapathy was having a fantastic ride. Dieter Huisman, as we said before, a fantastic showing from Dieter, who hasn't ridden motorbikes or been riding motorbikes around a track for that long. Graham from Bidar, a man who has been riding motorcycles around tracks for longer than most, is Graham from Bidar as he sets his sight on Jason Lamb, and that battle was heating up nicely. AJ Fenter still lapping in third place behind hometown favourite Trevor Westman, and this battle here between Gerard Frey, Byron Rothquell and Apana Ganapathy was still raging on, and that was a battle that would rage on until the checkered flag. Apana Ganapathy just losing touch ever so slightly with the two riders ahead of him. Would have to put his head down to get involved in that race up ahead for 14th, 15th place respectively. While late on in the race, there was a massive crash here from defending champ Graham from Bidar on board his Stefanuti stock ZX10 R machine. Glad to see Graham up and walking away from that massive crash that through that sort of off-camber corner. There is a little bit of a lip there, and if you lose the front there and you hit that, it sort of launches you up in the air. So great to see Graham standing up. This had now promoted Jason Lamb into an all-important 6th place as he looked at chasing down David Enticott, who was still just ahead of him, and Han McMahon in a lonely 4th place. But disaster struck with David Enticott. If it wasn't for bad luck, David would have no luck at all, as he was forced to ride to the side of the track on his bike, which had obviously encountered some sort of mechanical issue. So no luck at all there for David Enticott. Not what he wanted at his home round. While further back, a great race as Johan Leroux goes on the inside of Christian Carvello there in the right-hander. A great ride from Johan, an even better ride by Christian Carvello in the second heat, who was mixing it up front where he belongs. Stephen Golgotzi still chasing Dieter Huisman down, hoping to get the better of him by the time the checkered flag was waved. But out front, Clint Seller was absolutely dominating, lapping riders as well now. While Adi van Dalen was having a great first outing at the Killarney racetrack, not so much of a great outing for Henk Schalen, who would be wanting more. Speaking about more, the battle was still raging on between Lubas, Johan Leroux and Christian Carvello. That battle raged on throughout the whole race. A fantastic outing from Piers Canute at his home track in Cape Town. But back to the battle, Christian Carvello trying everything he knows to get past the vastly experienced Johan Leroux ahead of him, the veteran rider who just seems to get faster as he gets older. Speaking about Foster, out front now in a solid 4th place was Han McMahon as he powered his bike, making all sorts of shapes and sounds out onto the front straight to complete yet another lap. Heading on to the final lap though, and it was Clinton Seller on his number 11 King Price Extreme machine who was pretty much out front, home dry as they say, ready to take yet another victory. This would be his 4th out of 4 for 2024 so far, and it was in fact Clinton Seller who crossed the line to take yet another impressive victory. Who would finish second though? Would it be Trevor Westman or would it be AJ Fenter? It was in fact Trevor Westman, and as he powered to the line on his Project 60 machine ahead of AJ Fenter in 3rd. An impressive ride there from both those men. Stephen Golgotzi managed to get the better of Dieter Huisman. A great ride there as both riders put on a show for the crowd. As Graham from Bidar caught a lift back to the pits with Jason Lamb. Great sportsmanship there as we look at the results of race 1. Clinton Seller taking victory ahead of Trevor Westman, AJ Fenter, Han McMahon, Jason Lamb, Brian Bontequin and David Feringa, Piers Canute in 8th, Lubas in 9th, followed by Johan Leroux, Christian Carvello, Renatus van der Kerk and Adi van Dalen in 13th. 14th, Gerard Frey, Byron Rothquell in 15th, Apana Ganapathy, Aubrey Murray 17th, Stephen Golgotzi in 18th, Dieter Huisman 19th, Jonathan Schwerin 20th, Henk Schalen 21st, Ian Harwood 22nd with David Enticott in 23rd. A late DNF there for Sifiso Temba as well.
We had a phenomenal race.
Yes?
Yeah.
And then tell us, who were you fighting with in your race?
Oh, we had a great start. It's always the same guys we normally race with. Even a new guy, obviously not a new guy, it's old guys coming back in, so you can call him sort of new. Aubrey Murray, myself, Aubrey, Sifiso, Dieter, Jono Sherwin. We had a battle of, I promise you, you'll see it on the footage. It was absolutely amazing to race with the guys. Good, clean, hard, awesome racing.
Championship then in the Masters, Clinton Seller leading that ahead of AJ Fenter and Trevor Westman in 3rd. Graham from Bidar ahead of David Feringa and Apana Ganapathy in the Grand Masters, while Jason Lamb leads Teddy Brook and Henk Schalen in the Veterans. Join us for round 3 at Killarney on April 11th, 12th, and 13th.